Allemagne Ouest, 6,05,35. Deuxième, la Suède, 6,08,10. Voici le résultat officiel de la manche 8 rameurs en pointe avec barreur poids léger. Finale 7-12, c'est-à-dire la position de premier, la Nouvelle-Zélande. Nous avons 5,56,94 et deuxième, le Japon, 5,57,57. Wir haben jetzt das B-Finale Männer-Leichtgewichtsachter mit Steuermann. An erster Stelle Neuseeland 5,56,94 und an zweiter Stelle Japan 5,57,57. Diese beiden Boote haben sich auf dem 7. und 8. Platz klassifiziert.
Now they're racing in this women's single scull, just the 5 starters. Station 1 from Korea, Sin Suk Kang on station 1 nearest the judges box, or on the eastern side, the spectator side of the course. Station 2 from Great Britain, Patricia Reed. Station 3 from Hungary, Caitlin Salos. Station 4, Anne Marden from the United States. Station 5 is from Zimbabwe, Suzanne Standish White. And as they come up towards the 300-metre mark, it would be the United States sculler in the lead from the Great Britain and Hungary sculler, almost on level terms for second place, followed by Zimbabwe and Korea as they approach the 500-metre mark in the women's B final of the single scull, sponsored by Ranks Xerox. The sculler from the United States now under pressure from Patricia Reed from Great Britain, and in between them is the Hungary sculler Salos in third position, and a gap back to Zimbabwe and Korea as they approach the 1,000-metre mark, as they approach the 500-metre mark.
Voici la course. Une rameuse est aux 500 mètres. Nous avons couloir numéro 1 la Corée, numéro 2 la Grande-Bretagne, numéro 3 la Hongrie, 4 les États-Unis et 5 le Zimbabwe. Et les positions aux 500 mètres sont première position États-Unis, deuxième Grande-Bretagne, troisième Hongrie, quatrième le Zimbabwe et cinquième la Korea. Wir haben jetzt in diesem Rennen des Frauen-Einers B-Finale haben wir jetzt auf der Bahn 4 die Vereinigten Staaten in Führung, Bahn 2 Großbritannien an zweiter Stelle, Ungarn an dritter, Zimbabwe vierter und Korea an fünfter Stelle.
2 messages with Margot Foster, please ring extension 388. Margot Foster, please ring extension 388. And would Bill Eddy please go to the FISA Lounge? Bill Eddy to the FISA Lounge. Well into the second 500 metres now, and the United States sculler who took the lead in the early stages at the 750-metre mark, and Marden still leading the Great Britain sculler, Patricia Reed by about 3/4 to 1 length. A further third of a length back to the Hungarian sculler. In between them on station 3, Caitlin Salos. Then a gap back to Korea and Zimbabwe. Korea, Kang on station 1, and Zimbabwe, Standish White over on the far side of the course. The leading sculler now, Anne Marden from the United States, comes up towards the 1,000-metre mark. He's really getting some strong strokes now with a strong finish in these perfect conditions for sculling. The water almost perfectly flat all the way down the course in the women's single scull. It's the United States sculler, Anne Marden, coming through the 1,000-metre mark now in a time of 3 minutes 49.97 seconds. The Hungarian sculler Salos just moving into second place ahead of Patricia Reed of Great Britain, followed by Sin Suk Kang of Korea and Suzanne Standish White of Zimbabwe bringing up the rear.
Aux 1000 mètres, nous avons très clairement Anne Marden des États-Unis en tête, deuxième Patricia Reed, troisième la rameuse hongroise, quatrième Zimbabwe et cinquième la Corée. Auf der 1000-Meter-Marke haben wir ganz klar die Amerikanerin Anne Marden in Führung, zweite Großbritannien, dritte Ungarn, vierte Zimbabwe und fünfte Korea.
Rating 34 strokes a minute in this B final of the women's single scull. The leading sculler rating 34 strokes a minute, Anne Marden from the United States out on lane 4. She's now open up a lead in this third 500 metres. A very close race for second between the Hungarian sculler Caitlin Salos and the Great Britain sculler Now dropping back a little bit at the 1250 metre mark. That's Patricia Reid back into third place. Then a fair gap back to the Korean sculler Sin Suk Kang in fourth position, and Susan Standish White of Zimbabwe over on the far side bringing up the rear. But as the leading sculler approaches the 1500 metre mark, the United States sculler Anne Martin has led right throughout this race. She's sitting out comfortably in the lead, about 3 to 4 lengths clear now of Caitlin Salos from Hungary in second place, followed by Patricia Reid of Great Britain back in third position. Then a fair gap back to the other two scullers who are battling it out for fourth and fifth position. On this side of the course, nearest the judge, Sin Suk Kang of Korea, and on station 5, Suzanne Standish White. But they would be at least 200 metres behind the leading sculler, and Martin from the USA, who comes up towards the 1500 metre mark, and Anne Martin will go through in 5:47.17, 3 lengths clear of the Hungarian sculler Caitlin Salos. A length and a half further back to Patricia Reid of Great Britain, well back to Sin Suk Kang of Korea and Suzanne Standish White of Zimbabwe.
Au 1500 mètres, nous avons une position très claire. Il y a Anne Marden des États-Unis en tête avec un temps de 4:47.17. En deuxième position, la Hongroise Katalin Sarlos. Troisième, Patricia Reid de Grande-Bretagne. Quatrième, Corée. Et cinquième, Zimbabwe. Auf der 1500 Meter Marke haben wir Anne Marden mit 4:47.17 in Führung. Zweite Ungarn, dritte Großbritannien, vierte Korea und fünfte Zimbabwe.
So they're coming down to the real business end of the race now towards the 1750 metre mark, and the leading sculler in this rank Xerox sponsored women's single scull B final. It's still the United States sculler Anne Martin sitting comfortably ahead. She's got a 2.5 length advantage over Caitlin Salos of Hungary, who's really lifting her rating now and closing the gap a little bit as this race concludes, or comes down towards a conclusion, with Patricia Reid from Great Britain down on station 2. A second outside from the judge, about a further length and a half back in third place. Then a long way back to the Zimbabwe sculler on the far side on station 5. That's Suzanne Standish White, and bringing up the rear on station 1 is Sin Suk Kang from Korea. But coming down towards the finish of the single scull for women B final to determine places 7 to 11 in this particular instance. It's the United States sculler still rating on 34 strokes a minute. Anne Martin getting a good strong finish from each stroke, holding on to the advantage she's had right throughout the race, and she's going to take out this B final to finish 7th in the world in the single scull for 1990. It's Anne Martin for the United States across the line first in 7:46.74, 3 lengths back to the Hungarian sculler Caitlin Salos, half a length further back to the Great Britain sculler Patricia Reid. Those three scullers had a very keen tussle for the lead, and then coming through in 5th position on the far side.
Maintenant, la rameuse de Corée croise la ligne d'arrivée, 4e, et Zimbabwe 5e. Wir haben jetzt den vorläufigen Zieleinlauf an erster Stelle